Okay, now that you've got that sorted out, you've got your gray color filled in there. We won't worry too much about text just yet. We're going to save that for another movie, but you can see that if you turn on your other layers that you made there with the eye icons, and you just zoom out a little bit, you can see we've got that one pretty good. At any time you can hide your guides and selections with Control H, and then you can see exactly what you have going on to work with. So when we actually go to make the site, we can just copy this and we'll layer it in there 4 times. So just to finish this up quickly, there's not too much more to do, but we got to do something about this background. So let's hide this, get our main content up. Now you can see we've got something a little unique at the top. This gray band will fade out and fade down to nothing, and then going down it fades all the way out, but it goes past these bars. So first of all, get your guides back up. This middle section here we're going to get rid of, or we're going to put it into its own layer and then work with it later. So you're on here, Control Shift J, we'll put that in its own layer. We'll call this 3 columns. Alright, now we can hide that, and I'm just going to hide this layer 1 that I had so that it goes back to black like we originally wanted. But if we zoom in here close, you'll see we've got going from gray all the way down to black, and let's take a little cut off of this. Actually, we can go a little lower than that, and maybe all the way down to the start of the footer. So this is going to be our new background color. So from your main content layer that we had, we'll copy that, we'll make a new layer, we'll call this BG, paste it, Control T. Let's just zoom out a little bit before we do that. Hit Control T again to bring that up, and stretch. Oops, I went a little too far. Let's try that again. You can hit Control Z for undo anytime. So let's select that again, Control T. I'm just going to bring this in just a touch. Alright, now you can see this one is a little bit blurry too, just like the blue line was. So what we'll do again is you can go Filter, Gaussian Blur. Now if you've done it recently, it'll just use the same settings, which works fine for us. Now once you've got that done, you're going to want to put a clip mask on it. So in this case we got nothing really to select, so let's just grab exactly that selection down to the footer, and we'll add a mask on there with the mask button. Okay, so that part is finished. Now we got to deal with this one. This one is going to be very similar to what we were doing up on the blue before. We just need a marquee. You know, if you're getting good with your mouse, you can just do that quickly and drag guides from all sides at once. Now this one also goes from light gray, well, maybe it's fairly consistent. You can see though, if you look closely, that it has slightly rounded edges. Now it's hard to see because of the colors, but it is there. So what we could do ultimately is, let's make sure we have the right color. Let's get the gray from up there. Oops, I gotta deselect. The eyedropper tool, grab it up there. You know what? That was on my clip mask, which is only black and white. Let's try that again. So if you ever want to determine whether or not color is the same at one point in the document and the other, you can just eyedropper it and then have a look. So if you open that up, you can see the hex code for that one and the one on the bottom. You see it's not quite the same. So what we'll do is we'll make a selection here, and we're going to call this our column BG. So make a new layer. Select this whole area. Now select, modify, smooth. Let's smooth it by 3 pixels. Now you can see we got slightly rounded edges on our selection here. And we can do a gradient from one color to the other. So you can just left click, shift, drag down. Whoops, I have radial gradient selected. Let's do that again with a linear gradient. Shift, down, there's our background. Now deselect and hide your guides, and you can see how that looks pretty good. Now within each of the columns, if we just hide that again, you'll see we've got a few things to put in here, and one is going to be a new clip. So let's make a new layer, we'll call it clip, and let's get a white color back with from your swatches is the easy way, and just fill it in with the alt backspace. The rest of this we can kind of work on as we're going, because we can put little gray edges on the, with a border in CSS, and we'll leave enough room for our titles. But as long as you can see the clip there in the background, you have a good idea of the layout of this one. Now the only thing you have left to do is your footer, and that's easy because it's all black. So just open that up. You can select your entire footer just by control clicking it there, make a new layer, call it BG, and get a black color going. Make sure it's straight black, and alt backspace as you cover there. So let's zoom out so you can see the whole thing. There we've got a nice layout we can work with very easily for assembling our basic background of the site. And if you just want to double check what was going on before, turn this original layer on so you can see it with the text and without the text. And that's how it's done. And that is going to be it for this lesson. There will be more to come. Thanks.